Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here for the Martini Network Business Spotlight interview with my dear friend and Network Navigator for Martini Network, Mindy Gottesman. And she is the mobile groomer with 50 years of experience with the Ruff Life Mobile Grooming Salon and Spa, also known as Dapper Tails. Mindy, welcome.
Hi.
Ah, so
Yeah,
excited to have you here.
same.
I also want to tout Mindy too because she is part of the very first original inception team of Martini Network Navigators, and she was the very first in history Network Navigator of the Month. So congratulations, Mindy. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I know
Just
it's a thing when I see it.
just a rock star you are.
Uh,
Well, we love working with Mindy, but we're here to talk about Mindy's business and what she does. And I'm so excited because there's a lot of differences in grooming folks. And this is going to be such an exciting and educational video. So I would love to start, Mindy, with please tell me what made you decide to become a dog groomer?
that's a long story, but I'm going to make it as short as I can. Um, I'm the youngest of four girls. It was very important in my family that to my parents that we all went to college. I didn't do the greatest in high school. College probably was not going to be my thing. So my parents figured out the easiest thing for me to do would be to go to cosmetology school. They wanted me to get that feeling of being on a campus and going to college. So, against what I really wanted, my parents went ahead and signed me up at this college in Battle Creek, Michigan that taught cosmetology. And I was off to go learn how to do people hair. But I used to walk back and forth to school. And in my senior year of high school, there was a grooming school at the corner by where I would walk by. And so towards the end of my senior year, I would stop in there on my way home from school and I would watch the people groom the dogs. And the lady kept saying, you can learn too, and she handed me the package and I looked over everything. And at the time, it was like $1,500 to sign up for the school. And it was 750 hands-on hours of training and 300 hours of book work. And she showed me the book and all this stuff you had to do. It was called Master's School of Dog Grooming. So I took the packet home to my parents the day before I was supposed to leave for college. Now, mind you, they had loaded the car with my towels, my sheets, everything I needed for the dorm, right?
Yep.
And I went to my mom, and my dad wasn't home yet. And I'm like, Mom, I'm really not feeling this whole thing. And I handed her the package for the grooming school. And she looked at me with her crossed eye. She has like a crossed eye. She said, This is ridiculous. I've never heard of such a thing. And we had Great Danes as girls growing up. My dad loved Great Danes, so they didn't require a lot of grooming. Although my mom knew, other dogs did, but she just thought it was a crazy idea. And I'm like, no, no, I've, been to the grooming school. I've talked to the lady. I've watched them do this. I really want to learn how to do this. And so she's like, well, we'll talk to your father when he gets home and blah, blah, blah. So I wake up the next morning. We're supposed to leave, right? To take me to Kalamazoo. And my parents are unloading the car. They're taking everything out of the car. And she hands me the folder I gave her the night before with a check and
Uh,
go sign yourself up for grooming school.
oh, I love that.
My story, how I ended up being a dog groomer. So I went and signed up. I started the day I graduated from high school. And I've been a groomer ever since.
Oh my gosh, it was just meant to be. Plus, I'm sure it saved them a fortune from what the college would have cost.
Yeah, so it worked out really nice. I got my 750 hours of hands-on training done pretty quick. I passed the work pretty easily. It wasn't too difficult. And at 18, I opened up my first grooming shop with my husband's American Express card.
Oh my gosh, what a great story. And there's so much more. My gosh. So
Oh,
let's jump in. So tell us about that's like the perfect segue. Tell us about your experience. Like you have 50 years of experience. Let's talk about
do.
that.
I do. So I started just, opened up a shop right away. And so I jumped in feet first and I learned and I learned. I had that my first shop for 3 years until they started raising the rent. And then it was like, I really can't keep doing this. And of course, at that time, I didn't know the value of what I was providing. I'm just new, so I'm just like charging cheap prices and just, doing what I could do. And eventually learned I needed to learn a lot more. So I worked for a couple of breeders. I worked for a Bichon breeder. I worked for a Schnauzer breeder. I met this lady who had giant Schnauzers and miniature Schnauzers. So I learned how to hand strip and do show dogs. I met another lady that had Skye Terriers, which are very kind of a rare breed. They're long. They're long dogs with big ears and tons of hair, basically. So I worked for her for a while, but just bounced around a little bit. Worked for a couple grooming shops. Quickly realized uh, the industry of grooming is just really difficult. It's very physical. It's very mental. Um, you have to be spot on all the time. You're working with difficult dogs, dogs that bite, dogs that don't like this process at all. Um, it was hard. It was really hard. So I just kept getting as much experience as I could. I worked at a veterinarian grooming situation for a while. Um, I ended up taking a little break from grooming for about 8 years. I went into the mortgage banking business. My husband at the time had a cousin or an uncle that was going on a long vacation and he wanted me to kind of like take over his business. So I got into the mortgage business for a little bit. And then in 2008, the mortgage business took a big crash, if you remember.
It sure did.
And, and so that was a huge change in my life. I was making six figures at the time. I had a beautiful piece of property up in Michigan. Um, but I really wanted to get back to grooming. So my parents lived in Florida and they were like, you need to just come down to Florida. We'll help you, kind of thing. I lost everything in Michigan. I was working for mortgage brokers that were crooked as the day is long.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of money. Um, was working for some really crooked people. It was not good. So left everything in Michigan, came down here. My parents rented me a little house in Tequesta, and I was supposed to go into the mortgage business. I had a job all lined up, and by the time I got here and got settled, and my first day of work, I went and the guy's doors were closed and he was gone.
Oh my gosh.
So I was walking actually on my way home because it was like really close to the house that we rented, and I found this little grooming shop. And I walked in and I'm like, God, this would be so cool to get back into grooming. So I talked to the lady there. That's a really long story. I won't get into it, but basically, she inherited the business and she didn't really know what she was doing. She brought me on. I brought all kinds of business and kind of started building my own clientele. And from there, I opened up another brick and mortar in Tequesta, did that for a few years. And then they raised the rent so much I couldn't do it. So I had a nice house, ended up buying a house in Jupiter, had a nice house with big garage, nice piece of property. And I started grooming out of my house. And that worked out really good for a while. And then I needed to sell that house. And I moved here to Port St. Lucie and I had a little extra money. So I bought a mobile unit. I had done mobile grooming way back in the day for a little while up in Michigan, and that was that was rough. But so I knew I liked it, but I wanted to go mobile, and that was when the pandemic hit. So mobile was the way to go. So I went ahead and put all this money into this DIY truck that basically was falling apart right underneath me. It spent more time at the mechanics than I did working in it.
Oh wow.
So I started doing house call grooming where I would like take all my equipment into people's houses and wash their dogs in their bathtubs or kitchen sinks. And oh, Lordy B, that was difficult. That was so hard. And then the owner of Rough Life found me. And now I'm just living the rough life.
I love it. I love that. And you know what? Tell us what makes you different from other groomers because we had this conversation and I was so shocked to find out that licenses are not needed to be a groomer. So please share with the things that make you different.
Yeah, so the grooming industry, as you just mentioned, there is no licensing, there is no governing agency, there's nobody saying that you know what you're doing. So anybody can literally call themselves a dog groomer or pet groomer or cat groomer.
Oh,
Uh, don't keep in mind, we're using 8-inch shears, right? We're and the dog is moving, right? And we've got clippers and shavers and sharp objects and poking and we do a lot. And so anybody can literally say they know what they're doing. And so that causes like this big, huge divide of you can pay a Walmart price to get your dog groomed, or you can pay a Saks Fifth Avenue price to get your dog groomed. And everybody has that choice, right? You can you can decide you want to buy your clothes at Walmart or you want to buy them at Neiman Marcus. That's your choice, right? But when it comes to taking care of a live being, something that most of us treat our animals like our children.
yes, for
Uh,
sure.
who kind of knows what they're doing, and if it costs a little more, there's a reason for that.
That's just frightening. That is just frightening to me. When you told me that, I was like terrified for
Not,
people that don't know that that is a thing. I didn't know that was a thing until we talked about it.
and then not only that, but like you have very questionable people, right? Um, I won't get real specific, but people that have been in prison, people that have done bad things,
Well,
people.
we've seen it on the news, like, where people are boarding your pets and they're beating them or killing them. I mean, that's just horrible. So we want to, so anyway, let's get back to the positive. Let's talk about what
So
are,
what makes me different? I
yes,
The energy that I bring, the confidence that I bring, the experience that I bring.
yeah.
It's most important to me that your dog is comfortable, your dog is happy, your dog is enjoying the experience. And I bring that confidence and that experience to the table to where as soon as they get on my table, I'm a restraint free groomer. I don't noose your dog up and tie him up and do the groomer's helper and all these things. I let your dog be comfortable on the table with me before I even put a clipper to your dog, before I even put a scissor to your dog. Your dog has to know me. I create a bond with your dog. Most groomers in a salon setting don't have the time to do that. They're in and out, in and out, in and out. I got to get your dog done in an hour. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Yeah.
There's time to create that bond. I do 4, maybe 6 dogs a day. I take my time. It's one-on-one. It's calm. It's a great environment, and that's what's most important to me is that your dog enjoys the process and ends up looking like this little one.
Oh,
Look at
I love that. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to ask you one last question because we're already over. But what is the one thing that you want pet parents to know when choosing a groomer? If you could tell them one thing, what would it be?
so you want to make sure that they're a registered business with whatever city you're located in or county you're located in. Make sure that they're registered. Make sure they have experience. Make sure they have references. References are so important. Most of my clients come from referrals because they see what I do and they want to pass that on to their friends and their family and their neighbors. And that's really the best way to find a groomer is make sure that you know somebody that's used that groomer before so that you know that they're going to provide you the service that you're looking for because there's many scrupulous people out there that shouldn't be doing what we do.
And that is wonderful advice. So let's quickly tell them how they can contact you.
So I have a secretary located in Long Island, actually. But my direct line to my secretary is 561 300 7400. Or you can just go to rufflife.com and just make sure you're on the Florida site. There's also a Facebook page and Instagram page. We have somebody handling those messages pretty regularly. And if you need to contact me directly, just look for me on Facebook.
Mindy is everywhere, and you can see her Martini Network as a network navigator running
That
around helping other people in the community because she's amazing. So you can reach Mindy 561-300-7400 or go to Ruff, Ruff, life, life.com. Make sure you go to the Florida page. Thank you so much, Mindy, for coming on. And we're so excited to have your expertise. I know you'll be teaching classes soon too, so people need to be looking for that.
Definitely
And
working on it.
and thank you for being an amazing part of the Martini Network Navigator team.
Thanks for having me.